Today's lesson is by reading text on page 27. Open your books and let's read the text together. The Rockers build a soccer field.
The Rockers build a soccer field. Buenos dias, Mariana. Mr. Sanchez greeted his daughter at the breakfast table. Dormiste bien? I slept very well, Dad. I dreamt I scored the winning goal on a brand new soccer field. Your dream could be a sign that River Edge will finally get a regulation soccer field, smiled the father. Maybe you have special insight into what will happen at tonight's town council meeting. Remember, we must get the whole team there to convince them we need a better field. That night, Mariana and her father arrived at the meeting hall to find it filled to capacity. The two sat with the other River Edge Rockers, their community soccer team. Councilwoman Maloof opened the discussion, and Mr. Boyd, the Rockers manager, spoke first. Our team currently practices in a tiny schoolyard, and only when it's not already booked. The team nodded briskly. Ms. Yamagata, owner of Something Sushi, walked to the podium. I believe the town owns an empty lot next to my restaurant, she said. Couldn't that be a soccer field? The Rockers applauded. A soccer field would be a good use for that lot, Ms. Maloof assured. But the town simply doesn't have the money to build and maintain one. The Rockers can do it. Jamil spoke up. Jamil's right, Mr. Sanchez verified and began to negotiate with the council. If the town lets the Rockers use the vacant lot, we'll turn it into a soccer field. After some discussion, the council reached a decision. We, hereby, approve using the vacant lot adjacent to Something Sushi for a community soccer field. Mariana looked nervously at her cheering teammates, and then at her father. Mr. Sanchez winked at her, as if to say, didn't you have a dream? At Something Sushi the following day, the team got together to share ideas for raising. A karaoke night would be fun, suggested Mariana. Cool. Jamil shouted. I'll get to show off my incredible voice. Next idea, please. Benny Chan, the team's goalie, joked. What about a car wash, advised Mr. Boyd. That's good. Benny commented, except that Environment Club is already having one. Then, he suddenly shouted, hey, let's have a dog wash. Everyone thought it was a great idea until they met the dirty dogs. On the day of the dog wash, dog owners lined up in the middle of the school parking lot, where 6 wading pools had been set up. Mariana began washing a large, shaggy dog, shielding herself from the suds that flew each time the dog shook itself off. Suddenly, a poodle Jamil was washing jumped out of the pool to chase a dachshund. Then, several others took off, barking and tangling their leashes. Mr. Boyd was not amused as he announced, owners, control your dogs. After this near disaster, things settled into a routine. By the end of the day, the Rockers were soaked through but ecstatic about raising $750. A week later, the team gathered at the lot, carrying tools purchased with their earnings. Staring at the fallow field of dirt, rubble, and weeds, Mariana muttered, this bears no resemblance to the soccer field on my dream. But she kicked into action with the others. Scooping up debris and depositing it in a rented dumpster, a large metal container for holding, transporting, and throwing away waste materials. Soon, Mariana bent down to pick up a rock. She grunted when it did not budge. Jamil helped her shovel around it until they realized it was a huge boulder. Mr. Sanchez studied it and concluded, Esta roca es enorme. We need a bigger tool. All were awed when he returned a while later with a backhoe. When the boulder was extracted, Jamil looked into the gaping hole and proposed, let's haul in dirt from the perimeter. It took a while, but with everyone working together. They moved enough soil from the edges of the field to fill in the hole. In the next few weeks, the Rockers even enlisted neighbors to donate materials for a drainage system, for grass, and for bleachers. Attracted a huge crowd of soccer fans, all enthralled by the new The opening day attracted a huge crowd of soccer fans, all enthralled by the new field. Before the game, the Rockers huddled together and listened to their manager. "We did it. Together, we've turned an unseemly lot into our field of dreams."
Now let's go out there. Later, as the clock was turning out on the 0-0 score, Mariana kicked the ball hard. When she saw it slip through the opposing goalie's hand, she realized that her dream had actually come true. The story is about Mariana and her father, Mr. Sanchez. So she first had a dream that she saw herself scoring a winning goal in a brand new soccer field. Okay, and they were hopeful that the town council, would agree that they can build a better field. So we learned that Mr. Sanchez is a part of the Rockers team. They are a football team, a soccer team, and they only play in the schoolyard, okay, in a tiny schoolyard, and they need a field. So they went to the council, the town council, and they attended the meeting. The whole team attended the meeting in order to convince the council to give them the law, the regulation to open or to build a new soccer field. In the meeting, Mrs. Yamagata suggested that there is an empty space, empty lot next to her restaurant, and it could be a good option for building a soccer field. And then the councilwoman, Miss Ma'louf, agreed, but she suggested and she said that the council didn't have enough money to build or to maintain a soccer field. So here, the Rockers team, suggested that they can do it. They can collect all the money in order to build the soccer field themselves. After that, the council agreed to give them the vacant spot in order to build a soccer field, and they started discussing. The team started discussing on how to make the money necessary to build the soccer field. So they met at the sushi restaurant, at Miss Yamagata's restaurant, something sushi, and they starting to have a discussion. Mariana suggested a karaoke night, and it was denied because they don't have good voices. After that, Mr. Boyd, who's the manager of the Rockers team, suggested they hold a car wash, but the environmental club was holding one. And uh, finally, Benny. So Benny is the goalie, the goalkeeper. Benny Chan is the goalkeeper for the Rockers team. Okay, so he suggested that they have a dog wash instead of a car wash. So they collect dogs and they wash them. So everyone thought it was a good idea, and they held the dog wash. During the dog wash day, they found that all the dogs were dirty and there was a mess. So what happened there is that Mariana was washing a shaggy dog and it shook itself, so it made Mariana all wet. And another dog, a poodle, chased started chasing another dog, and it was a mess until Mr. Boyd was mad, and he told the owners to control their dogs. After this disaster, the Rockers were tired and soaked and all wet, but they were happy that they ecstatic means extremely happy that they raised $750. So after a week, they used the money to buy uh, the needs, the dirt, the soil, the rubble, the small rocks, and the grass in order to start building the field. when they started building the field, Mariana said that this has no resemblance to the soccer field of my dream. So the empty lot was full of dirt, full of trash, so it didn't look like the soccer field, the green soccer field she saw in her dream. But they started working and filling the holes until Mariana found a big rock and she tried to move it herself, but she couldn't. And then she called her father, and they all couldn't move the rock until they used the backhoe. Okay, you can find the picture of the backhoe on your books. So when the big rock was removed, it left a big hole, and then they all cooperated to fill the hole with dirt from the field, and they told neighbors and they asked neighbors to donate. So neighbors started donating materials for the drainage system and grass and for the bleachers. So at the end, after building the soccer team in the opening day, a huge crowd came to watch the game, and they were all fascinated by the beautiful soccer field the Rockers have built. And in the end, uh, in the end, the score was 0-0 until Mariana kicked the ball and uh, she scored a goal, which made her dream come true. Now, I want you to again pause the video and try to look for the words in the given paragraph that have this meaning. These are the answers. I need you to copy this on your uh, copybook, the vocab section, and I need you to study them alongside the vocab you're gonna have on page 31, A and B. Now, let's learn about the causes and the effects in the text. Now, what is the effect of Mariana dreaming about scoring the winning goal on a new soccer field? So after she dreamt about scoring a winning goal, what happened? Again, I need you to pause the video for as long as it takes and try to copy this table on your reading comprehension section and solve the missing and fill the missing parts in the table. Here are the answers. So Mariana dreamt about scoring the winning goal on a new soccer field, and this resulted in her being hopeful about the possibility of having a new field. So the Rockers showed up at the meeting to argue for a soccer field. Why is that? Because Mr. Sanchez told the team to attend the town council meeting. The town didn't have money to build and maintain a soccer field. That resulted in Jamil suggesting that the Rockers build the field themselves. And at the end of paragraph 4, the Rockers promised to build and maintain the soccer field. That resulted in the town council approving that they can use the vacant lot to build their field. Events are on paragraph 1 to 9 in the town council meeting. What happened there? So the Rockers and Mr. Sanchez convinced the council to let them use a vacant lot for a soccer field. From paragraph 10 to paragraph 20, in order to raise funds, in order to make money to build the soccer field, what happened? The team raised money, they made money through a chaotic but successful dog wash. So they held a dog wash. During their work to build the field, so after making the money, when they were Building the field, what happened? The team cleaned up the lot, so it was dirty, so they cleaned it up, removed a huge boulder. A boulder means a rock, so they removed a huge rock and worked to build the field. And at the end, on the opening day, the Rockers played their first game on the new field, and Mariana scored the winning goal. The problems and the solutions. Lack of soccer field. So, because they had a problem, they didn't have a soccer field. The solution was that they convinced the council to use a vacant lot for a soccer field. They didn't have money. They didn't have money, so they held a dog wash. They had a huge boulder in the field, so they used a backhoe in order to remove it and then fill the hole with soil. And at the end, the chaotic dog wash, it was a problem. The solution was that the team controlled the dogs and continued washing them. Mr. Boyd asked the owner to control their dogs. The settings. What time is it? I need you to pause the video and try to solve it yourself on the reading comprehension section. So, the time of the story is in the evening during the town council meeting. So it was a period of time, but the story started in the evening when she held when Mariana had a dream, and then the next day when they attended the town council meeting. The place was River Edge, so the town there was called River Edge, and uh, in the council meeting. The people were Mariana and her father, Mr. Sanchez, Jamil, who's a member of the team, Mr. Boyd, who's the manager of the team, and the town council members. And we do not forget the team, okay? The problem, what was the problem? The problem was that they didn't have a soccer field to practice and play games. The solution was that they convinced the council meeting, they proposed to build and maintain the soccer field. So they convinced the town council, to give them a vacant lot to build their own soccer field. So what happened is they didn't have enough money to build or maintain the field, so they had the dog wash to build the field themselves using donations from the neighbors. So the neighbors donated money and the materials in order to build the soccer field. Now, the sequencing of events. The first thing that happened is Mariana dreamt that she scored a goal on a new field. Then, the team attended the council meeting and Mrs. Yamagata suggested they build a soccer field in the empty lot next to her restaurant. Then, the town council agreed, but they needed the money. So after that, the team discussed ways to make money and so they decided to hold a dog wash. And then the team started preparing, after getting the money, the team started preparing the soccer field. And at the end, at the opening day, Mariana scored a goal and her dream came true. Now, I need you to open your books to page 31 and 32. You have exercises A and C on page 31 and A and B on page 32. I need you to solve them and then come back to correct your answers. Here are the answer keys for exercises A and C on page 31. And here are the answer keys for exercises A and B on page 32. Thank you so much. See you next time.